There are movies that entertain. And there are movies that do something far more dangerous. They change you without you noticing. They don't ask for your permission. They don't warn you. They simply plant an idea. And days later, you think that idea was always yours. Today, you're not going to see just any list. You're going to enter a hidden map of influence. Because these 7 movies from the 1950s and 1960s didn't just shape cinema. They rewrote the way people think, feel, and decide. But there's one detail almost nobody understands: not all of them persuade in the same way. Some whisper, others manipulate, and one directly reprograms you. We're going from the least dangerous to the most persuasive. And when we reach the end, you'll see cinema in a completely different way. Number 7, Rebel Without a Cause, 1955. This is where something interesting begins. It is not the most sophisticated film, but it is one of the most emotional. James Dean's story does not try to convince you with logic. It does something simpler and more effective: it makes you feel misunderstood. And that is the key. The persuasion here is not direct. It does not tell you, rebel. It shows you the pain, the frustration, the emptiness. And when you feel it, rebellion stops being an idea and becomes a way out. This reveals something important: misguided emotion always seeks direction. And this film gives it one. Number 6, Roman Holiday, 1953. It seems innocent, romantic, light, elegant. But underneath, there is a much more interesting structure. Audrey Hepburn's story does not sell love. It sells freedom disguised as love. Look at this: you don't fall in love only with the story. You fall in love with the idea of escaping your life. The persuasion here is aspirational. It does not push you. It seduces you. And that is more powerful. Because when you desire something, you don't need anyone to convince you. Number 5, 12 Angry Men, 1957. Here, the game changes. It is no longer pure emotion. Now it is mind control. One man against 11. And he does not win with force. He wins with questions. This is not a movie. It is a demonstration of how a belief is changed. Step by step. Without imposing. Without attacking. Only by planting doubt. What if we're not sure? And suddenly, certainty breaks. This is where most people fail. They think persuading means convincing. No. Persuading means destabilizing, just enough. Number 4, Psycho, 1960. This should not work. But it works far too well. Alfred Hitchcock does something brutal: he makes you trust. And then betrays that trust. He changes the narrative halfway through the story. He kills the person you thought was the protagonist. And your mind goes into shock. And when the mind goes into shock, it becomes vulnerable. Here, the persuasion is not ideological. It is psychological. It teaches you that what you believe is safe can disappear in seconds. And that changes how you perceive reality. Number 3, The Graduate, 1967. Here, something deeper begins. We are no longer talking only about emotions or twists. We are talking about identity. A lost young man, with no direction, surrounded by expectations. Does that sound familiar? This film does not tell you what to do. It makes you question everything you thought you were supposed to do. And that is the trick. Because when you destroy a mental structure, the person becomes ready for a new one. What is really happening is this: they are not telling you a story. They are taking away your certainties. Number 2, A Clockwork Orange, 1971. This is another league. Uncomfortable. Disturbing. Hard to watch. But impossible to forget. Stanley Kubrick does not want you to feel good. He wants you to face something uncomfortable. What happens when your ability to choose is taken away? The film plays with your morality. It makes you hate the protagonist. And then question the punishment. And suddenly, you don't know which side you're on. That is where the most dangerous persuasion happens: when you lose moral clarity. Because a confused mind is an influenceable mind. And now, we arrive at the one that does not only persuade, but installs itself. It stays. It operates in silence. And it changes the way you interpret everything. Number 1, 2001, A Space Odyssey, 1968. This film does not speak to you. It forces you to think. It does not give you answers. It does not guide you. It does not explain. And that is exactly the point. Because when the mind does not receive answers, it begins to generate them. And when it generates them, it defends them. This film does not persuade with story. It persuades with emptiness. With silence. With symbolism. With discomfort. It makes you feel small, insignificant, and at the same time, curious. And in that state, your mind opens. Not because someone forced it, but because it could not avoid it. This changes everything. It is not telling someone what to think. It is creating the conditions for them to arrive there alone. Now you understand something most people never see. The most powerful form of persuasion. These films did not only mark an era. They designed forms of influence. Some used emotion. Others logic. Others chaos. Others silence. But they all share one thing. They are not trying to make you agree. They are trying to make you change. And here comes the important part. If this exists in cinema, where else do you think it is happening? Because once you start seeing it, you can no longer stop seeing it. And what once seemed like entertainment starts to feel like something far more calculated. And that is only the beginning. If this topic awakens something in your mind, then you still haven't seen the most important part. If you want to understand it clearly, I've prepared something very special for you, The Invisible War. You can find it in the link in the description below.